He does, however, have a strong backdash, and this complements his gigantic reach. So Fahkumram wants to play more of a 2D game with you rather than 3D. Alright, so for the longest time I've been really wanting to talk about Lord Fahkumram. It's a character that has really grown on me, and I feel is underappreciated by a lot of people. And I get it, like, I don't necessarily love the way he looks either. He looks like, is it Baki, that anime? He looks like a ridiculous, like, anime character. I don't hate the way he looks, but he's not one of the best designs. Like, Leroy is cooler. They were all released under the same time period. Leroy is cooler. Lydia is cooler. But what I'm going to talk about is his gameplay design. And this one I really, really like. You know how I love characters that are they have a clear identity, something they really, a very defined strength. Very clear weaknesses. And they're not these all-round, like, bags of garbage that just do everything. And that's what he was on release. So he was really easy to dislike. Like, he did everything and then some. And had the best movement in the game. You know, that's how DLC characters operate. But with time, they actually sculpted, with like 100 different nerfs, they sculpted what, in my opinion, is kind of a beautiful design. And don't get me wrong, you're gonna hate this character. Even though he's bottom tier, he's like, at the highest, you're probably gonna say bottom 10. I think most pro players will put him insanely low due to how unsafe he is. But you're still going to lose to him all the time. And you probably hate Fahkumram because you lose to him all the time. Because he starts swinging, right? And you have no clue what's happening. He's just all over the place, swinging. You don't know the matchup, you lose. And that's fine. That's how Tekken works. He's very spammy. He's very spammy. And if you don't know the matchup, you're just going to lose. That's how Tekken plays. But I do want to talk about what they did to him compared to 1.0 Fahkumram, but that didn't have a clear identity. This guy does. So, like, first off, his, like, defensive utility, he went from all round to suddenly not having a sidestep. Like, if you try a sidewalk with Fahkumram, it's like walking in mud. You see how slowly he walks? And as he's doing this, he has a gigantic hitbox. The hitbox of a small car. He has bottom 5 sidestep, so you can't rely on sidestepping. This is an enormous problem in a 3D fighter like Tekken, not being able to rely on sidesteps. He does, however, have a strong backdash, and this complements his gigantic reach. So Fahkumram wants to play more of a 2D game with you rather than 3D, which makes him very interesting, in my opinion. And then they removed all counter hit utility. If you press into him or you pressure him, he was scary due to having this stuff, right? He had a magic 4. They removed his magic 4. They removed back free counter hit launch. He has free 4, but for some reason they made this minus 11. And this is almost historic in my opinion. I can't think of a single free 4 style attack in Tekken history that is unsafe on block. I simply can't think of one. And it looks like Fak has pushback here and you're like, oh, jabs are gonna whiff. But he extends his leg and that extended hitbox is there for the entire duration of his recovery. Every jab will connect there. Every jab string, every punish you have in mind is going to connect. So every type of counter hit utility was removed. It's not there anymore. Which again is very interesting. That's very unorthodox. His lows are very, very poor. Downward 3 is the go-to. And it's -2 and does 15 damage. This is launch punishable. Any tricky type of thing here, very punishable. He has a hell sweep that is homing, but slow on startup. And he can do this from crouch. But again, launch punishable. Launch punishable is the name of the game with this character. Fahkumram always gambles with his health bar, no matter what he does. It's a little bit like Kazuya, but this guy relies on a very tricky playstyle to trick you out. Like, yeah, let's just say straight away what Fahkumram is. Fahkumram doesn't have a classic down for 1, right? This is -5. What Fahkumram is basically, he does a poke style attack into a vortex, and now you need a hard read. If you have a hard read on me, I die. I'm always launch punishable. I'm always launch punishable. Be it you ducking, like for example his lightning kick here, jet kick. It looks super cool, like homing, +6 on block, but if you duck that, my recovery is forever, and you kill me. I do while running free, I'm +9 on block. If you sidestep, I die. Fahkumram, it's a bit like Kazuya, where unless you get the hard read, you die, right? But if you block it, he is very oppressive. But again, if you duck it, I die. You're going to get killed by this monster because you don't know of a matchup, but if you know of a matchup, he dies. So, let's see, very unsafe. This also, you know how this is historic? This being -11? It's the same with this. Down for 2, you know, his 15-frame launcher does not jail, so you can duck that high. But even if you don't duck that high, he's -12. And he's got a mid mix-up here. That's -13. Again, usually with this type of mix-up situation in Tekken, the high option is safe on block. Because it's punishable if you duck it. But here, you can duck it, or you can take the -12. If I try and mix you with a mid, I'm -13. There's no character as unsafe as Fahkumram. There just isn't. And his gigantic lack of high evasion. This is a problem with Kazuya as well. You know, like, Kazuya is always straight with his back. Meaning, anytime he commits to an attack, you can hit him with a high and counter hit him out of it. Making him very weak to back 1 counter hits, electrics, magic 4s, you name it. It's the exact same with Fahkumram. Almost any attack he does, he keeps his back straight. So he's also very vulnerable to high counter hits, and especially when he commits to his twister mix-up. Every single mix-up he does here loses to a magic 4 or Steve's back 1. So yeah, super unsafe for many reasons. His defense is like the worst in the game, I think. So basically, they removed all of that utility to create what, and now I'm getting to the point of this video, this super unsafe character with tons of weaknesses that are very unique to him. But what he gets are these really oppressive mix-ups that again are super unsafe. But if I have a read on you, they're very rewarding. And a very unique parry. And then of course, what I also like, the ultra obnoxious guard break. Which in my opinion, he earns these days due to his mountain of weaknesses. He has earned having a completely unique guard break. Here, this guarantees a down 4 if I can get the dummy to block it. That guarantees a down 4 in the open. And it wall splats next to the wall. So, he earns very unique... I like to call them twister mix-ups as soon as he starts spinning like this. And the guard break. This just makes him completely unique. From a classic down for 1 that's -5 on block, he has like 5 different variations to try and catch you off guard with, right? 5 different variations. Super long reach standing free into a ton of variations. And if he gets you to respect him with all of these strings, he has a guard break. This is an incredibly unique moveset with a very unique purpose that really stands out. There's no one like Fahkumram. And this has made me really like him. And like, if you know the matchup, like his defensive prowess is so unbelievably bad. Defensively, he's so bad. And if you get the reads on him, he just dies no matter what he does. He dies. He's really grown on me. And compared to 1.0 Fahkumram, he's so interesting right now. He's in a really good spot. And I do prefer him to Bruce Irvin. I didn't before, but Bruce is so much more of a generic Tekken character. I much prefer Bruce's design, though, the way he looks, absolutely. But in terms of gameplay, Fahkumram is so much more unique. He really adds a completely different flavor of Tekken. Now, I know it's not Bruce, but we can take a look at oh, we're in the DLC list. But let's look at Josie. Because the way Bruce, it's like, I don't want Bruce to come back anymore for Tekken 8. I don't want Josie to come back, but I want Fahkumram now to come back due to how cool his gameplay is. So Bruce, what he used to be, is a counter hit. It's back 2. Josie did not inherit this move, but Bruce was a bad poking counter hit character, and we have plenty of those. It was almost like Paul a little bit, not quite, but very similar. Bad poking. Great punishment, really great punishment, Bruce. And relied on just single hit counter hits. So this one, imagine this attack, but with more reach. He would go kablam with his elbow and knee. Counter hit launcher. And his down for 2 was very strong. Very strong magic 4. Big... safe on block, back forward 4, safe counter hit launcher. No, safe natural hit launcher. So, yeah, and just huge damage. And then with 50-50 with this, or CD2, just like Josie, she inherited this. And he had a really cool chain throw, though. I liked that. But there was nothing truly unique about Bruce. Very strong block punishment, very strong whiff punishment, single hit counter hits, and 50-50 with this. That was Bruce. What Fahkumram does is so much more unique. There is no one in this game like Fahkumram. And I really enjoy that, and I feel like Fahkumram should get more credit. And again, you might not like his visual design, and you know, I definitely have issues with that as well. And you're going to get blown up by him because pretty much no one knows the matchup. But if you take time to lab him and look at him, like, they went from a really poor DLC design to a very clear character in terms of identity and uniqueness. And fair. He might not feel fair, but he is. If you just know what he's doing, there's no character more unsafe, I think. So yeah, I guess that's what I wanted to say about Fahkumram. I'm just gonna double check my notes here. Right, and Fahkumram doesn't have a universal. We touched about this. No universal down for 1. Doesn't have a hop kick. Doesn't have a universal down for 2, which is also super. Oh, a character that goes in that direction is always interesting, I feel. And he does reward you with high damage when you get the hard read. Yeah, that's it. So, very interesting, in my opinion.